Welcome, everyone, to Project XTalk Extra, our brand new podcast supplement that will go out every Monday. So you get our podcast live Thursdays, on audio feeds Friday, and then this is a little something to hold you over at the start of the week. So I think we're going to put this out on Mondays. If that does change, I'll announce it on Twitter, but right now that's what I'm thinking. This is where we will discuss random, interesting news stories or topics that we didn't think were quite big enough to make the main podcast. So these won't be super long, probably around 10 minutes is what we're aiming for. But we hope you enjoy the additional content that we're bringing you. This week, this topic was brought to me by my lovely guest here, Tom. How you doing?
Doing amazing. We just got off our podcast and we're jumping right into this. So let's do this. I'm a little hungry.
Same. I got dinner waiting for me. I put it in before the show, and then we go. But back to the topic at hand, specifically Diablo 2 Resurrected. So you've been playing it. This is the remastered version of the beloved Diablo 2. It came out a week ago. Yeah, about a week ago, right?
Yeah, I think I come out last week.
Yeah. And the issue is, much like we've seen with other online games, day one was kind of an issue for some users, reporting login issues, connectivity problems, loss of save data. This prompted Blizzard to take these servers offline for emergency maintenance mere hours after release. So while some were able to play single player offline if they were able to connect earlier in the day, a lot of people were unable to do anything, and a lot of people lost all their stuff. So this isn't the first time we've seen this with this online connectivity, newly launched game having server issues day one. What's your take on this, Tom? Why do we keep seeing this issue?
Honestly, I feel like this issue lies with not expecting a mass population to come into your game and ultimately being underprepared for that. And this doesn't only happen with Blizzard games. This happened with Diablo 3 when that came out as well. It happens with expansions for World of Warcraft. It also drops then. It happens in Call of Duty sometimes in a game, but you might not be able to play for a couple hours at launch because they don't expect a mass amount of players, which honestly, I think that's all on the developers and on the publishers for not providing adequate servers and then downscaling as they see that they don't need all those extra, servers from there. They're just being cheap. That's what I feel like a lot of this is. You're being cheap, and you guys have to, instead of under preparing, over prepare and then downscale from there. Stop being cheap. And these launch issues have an effect on a lot of things like reviews, for example. People aren't able to connect on day one. They're going to leave you a disgusting review, and ultimately it's going to make your game look worse than it already is if you guys didn't prepare a little bit more.
No, absolutely. I think the frustrating part with this is that games, they have betas, and the betas are meant to stress test the servers. So like Diablo 2 had a beta, and it's meant to give you like an idea, and then you extrapolate like, okay, this is how many players we think we can expect on launch day. So I just don't understand how they give these betas, multiple betas in certain circumstances, and then launch day shows up and we're still encountering these problems. And it's not just Diablo. We saw with Outriders too. People for weeks couldn't connect. Yep. They might still be having connectivity issues. Who knows? Diablo 2, though, the brand new one around the block, Diablo itself is not new to this. Diablo 3, when I picked it up day one, connectivity issues. Mm-hmm. This is a consistent pattern, and I don't understand. They run one of the most successful MMO in the history of the world with World of Warcraft. They know how to prepare servers. Why can't they do it for Diablo?
Yeah, this is just a point of Activision being greedy. This is what I feel like. You guys have all this time to stress test, and you don't even need live players to stress test. A lot of this stuff can be done like in the back end. And for some reason, they still fail at this. You got Blizzard, especially, and Activision Blizzard, I should say, they know their player base is massive. They know their games are like extremely hyped. Don't plan for the bottom end. Plan for what you think the top end might be, and even then, throw a little bit of fluff room in there, and you'll have good games at launch. Uh, I would have been mad if I had to play this game in an offline mode because eventually I'm gonna want to play with my buddies down the line, and I'm
Mhm.
not gonna start a new character. So you
Wait,
guys could have mitigated those issues.
wait, can you not switch back and forth and play the same character offline online?
No, if your offline character is offline. One of the issues that Diablo 2 had was at launch, when you do start the game for the very first time, you have to link it to your BattleNet. You
Mhm.
couldn't even do that, so you couldn't even play at all in a lot of these circumstances because unless you got past that point, if you got past that point, then you have the option of playing online or offline. But the online didn't work, so you can play an offline character.
That is incredibly frustrating. I thought it was literally just like, okay, I'm going to play offline. And then when I reconnect, it's just going to bring my offline progress onto the online server.
No, you have to play it online, and the online one is the one you can also transfer between consoles. So
I
of the
wouldn't even
cross
have played.
progression.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't have played.
yeah. It's a and this is not the first time this happened. Like this, the reason this hit home to me is there was another game that came out on Steam a couple of years ago, and there was also another ARPG. For some reason, I cannot think. Oh, it's actually another name. It was called Wilson. This game was a hot mess for a whole week on launch. You can only play offline because they did not expect the big influx of players. Now, granted, I would give this studio a little bit more of a pass. They were a smaller studio, and it was more of a niche game. Without like this was their very first game,
Mhm.
but even then, a lot of people who jumped into this game were people who loved Diablo and really were craving for more content. So they just got hit extremely hard, and you could not play that game for a week. It was aggravating because actually on that one I had to make two characters. I beat the game on my offline character and beat it again on online, and it just shouldn't be a thing. I guess for them I'll give a pass, but you guys are Activision Blizzard, a
Mhm.
billion-dollar company. Plan ahead and stop being lazy. Like you don't stop being cheap. Actually, it's just stop being cheap. You guys make so much money off microtransactions and the game itself. Stop it.
It's a shame because Vicarious Visions, a studio I really love, were the ones working on Diablo 2. But obviously, Blizzard, the publisher, is like the main one working on it, the person in charge of getting these servers up, financing all this. So it seems like they're putting their developer out to dry. Like they're just leaving them like, yeah, whatever. Like you guys are gonna take the blame for this because everyone knows you're associated with the game. I I would be frustrated if I continuously tried to play these games, and I think this is why people keep asking for offline games instead of always having to be online. There should be obviously online for Diablo is essential. Like I said, I wouldn't have played if I had logged in and couldn't connect because I'm only playing this game online. I only want my character to, I want to take my barbarian. I want to go play with my brother. I want to go play with my friend. I want to explore, do the X together, grind for loot. That is the whole point of Diablo to me. There's no point in me playing offline. So for me, if I had encountered these launch day issues, luckily I didn't pick the game up. Maybe I will at some point, but or you'll buy it for me. Throwback. Um, but I would have just been like, nope, not doing this. I'll come back in a week or whatever when your servers are all fixed.
You and me play really different, by the way. See,
What do you
I
mean?
don't. I play Diablo on every ARPG. I play it by myself the entire way through.
Oh
The only
no.
reason I need online is for trading purposes, because I might get an item and I want to trade it with someone else for something I might need for my character. But most of the time, I'm playing it all by myself the entire way through, beginning to end.
Hell no.
Yes.
Hell no. You gotta party up. You gotta like roll with your squad. You gotta destroy the demons. Man, I'm talking myself into playing Diablo, but I saw that another big issue, this isn't related to servers, but with Diablo 2 in general, is that they took away like the lobby searching from the original. So in the original, you would go and be like, join here if you're trying to get do this run to get this
Yeah.
loot or whatever. Apparently you can't do that anymore. You have to like find them externally, invite them to your game.
Yeah, it's just matchmaking. It's all done. Like there's no, I know what you're talking about, like the server list. They might have a
Yeah.
name of what they're looking for. You click and join that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
they don't have that at all.
that's a massive disappointment in my opinion, because if I want to run certain bosses over and over for certain loot, that makes it so much harder to do that. I have to go probably to Reddit or external sources and be like, all right, guys, putting together a group trying to run this. Let's go. So that's disappointing to hear. I hope that changes because it is on the PC version, is my understanding, just not the console.
Okay, yeah, that is bad. I didn't think about it that way for like end game for running specific bosses. That's gonna actually suck really bad.
Mm-hmm.
You have to actually find friends or join their Discord server and just hopefully have someone respond to you.
That's right. Hopefully, someone's looking to do the same stuff you are. Which, if it has a big enough player base, most likely someone is. But it's still, there has to be a better way. There has to be a better way, and add on top all these other issues. It's not a great launch for Diablo 2.
No, but it is fun at least. And I would give it that, guys, listening to this. I'm having so much fun with Diablo 2. If you loved Diablo 2 in the past, you're gonna love Diablo 2 Resurrected. And the issues are that we're talking about now are ironed out. So we're just talking, retrospectively at this point.
Mm-hmm. It's more of a post mortem. Not that it died, but the issues died post mortem of why do these online games keep coming out like this? We're probably going to see more in the future. This probably isn't the last time this conversation is going to happen between someone and be like, why can nobody launch an online game correctly? Why do I always have to suffer with server issues day one? It's going to keep happening unless we call this kind of nonsense out even after the fact. So that's really the point of this conversation. You got anything to add before we wrap it up, Tom?
Nope, nothing else.
All right. Well, everyone, thank you so much for checking out Project XTalk Extra. Like I said, it's our new supplement to our weekly podcast. It will go live probably Mondays. We'll work out the schedule, but follow us on Twitter at Project XTalk to stay up to date with everything. Like, share, subscribe, drop us review everywhere you can find this podcast, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.